Hey everybody, Tim Dwyer from South Australia. Happy New Year. Welcome to the year 2025. It's amazing man is still alive. Oh Lord. Hey guys, I hope you had a great Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. And the new year, it's a little hard, I guess, for some people to get excited about the new year. But hey, here we are in the year 2025, and we are literally in the process. The pedal hits the metal right now. So we have this year, I believe, but not all of it. We've only got a little bit of it to do what we've got to do and to make the difference we have to make. The lunatics are in full flight. They are out there. They've fueled up their tanks, and they are going to pull out all stops unless we sort of put a few roadblocks in their road and slow them down and then stop them and then take the keys off them. I think that'd be a good idea. Let me share the page and see where we go from here. So what sort of country do you want? And again, this video, you've got to understand, is not for those of us in the echo chamber. This video is for everybody else who doesn't know, who hasn't heard, who's not really awake. We want them to be aware. So let's share this. And look, I know sometimes you get a bit of pushback, but share it anyway. All right. So what sort of country do you want? And how much trust do you have in both your state and federal governments? And do you have any confidence in the current system to create a better country? Well, let me put it to you this way. In Victoria now, there's a council over there. These lunatics want you to pay $400 just to be able to do work in your garage on your own car. Like, who owns the bloody land here? If they own it, pay the mortgage on it. If you own it, let do what you want to do on it. This is the sort of lunacy that's spreading, right? And I don't know where it's coming from. Really, I do. But, you know, these people are just nupties of the first degree. Anyway, moving right along, these are just some questions you want to ask yourself and ask your mates. The year 2025 is the year that Australia came alive. It really is. 2025, the year the people took back our constitutional parliament. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Why? Because if we don't, we will lose every right we think we have, and we'll lose it forever. It is time for we the people to bring our country back under a legitimate constitutional parliament. Now, I know, you're going to say, Tim, you've been banging on about this for so long. Will you get a new song? No, there is only one song. It is the reformation of the legitimate parliament. And in doing that, each time I put these videos out, there's other bits and pieces in them that maybe perhaps you've been missing, or maybe you're not even watching them all the way to the end. I don't know. But don't miss any more from this point on, because we are ramping up. And when I say we are ramping up, it will be blinding as we go forward, I hope. I hope I'm still here. Anyway, keep moving. All right. You've got to understand, within this book, within the annotated constitution of the Australian Commonwealth, this is the law of the Australian Commonwealth. In here is our constitution, and it says that the legislative authority will be within the Parliament of the Commonwealth. And in this book, it says it'll be within the Australian Parliament, or the Parliament of Australia. That's bullshit. This is a deception, a document of deception. This constitution is lawfully separate to this constitution. This is the corporate commonwealth. This is the people's commonwealth. This is copyrighted. This is not. There is a huge difference. This will keep you enslaved and entrapped as an Australian citizen. Over here, you are a Commonwealth national. Understand the difference. The lawful seal. In 53, the Great Seal of the Commonwealth under Queen Elizabeth II was issued. This seal was for use in the Commonwealth of Australia and its territories, obtaining to the Crown in 1973, right? The Great Seal of Australia under Queen Elizabeth II was issued. This seal was for use in Australia and its territories. So the Great Seal of Australia is different to the Great Seal of the Commonwealth of Australia. Totally different, right? So that's the legitimate seal. Now let's have a look and see what happened here. Oh, look at this. Evidence of the defacing of the Great Seal of the Commonwealth. Pursuant to the warrant of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II and dated the 9th of October 73, the Great Seal referred to therein was this day defaced by me in the Executive Council, right? The Governor General, there's the crime, right? There's the crime. They took away the Great Seal of the Commonwealth and Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. That is the fiction, not the real Queen. It's a little tricky to understand, I get that. But you've got to understand, the knowledge that I'm giving out here is this. I haven't learned it all myself. I've gained it from other people as I've gone along and listened to others like, you know, Wayne Glue and Dick Yardley and Darren Dixon and Augusto Zimmerman and others, many, many others. And we learn from these professors. We learn from these great minds. And so collectively, what you're getting here in a nutshell, in just a flick through, is about 150 years of knowledge. I know you don't have the time to go and study it. We have. And therefore, we're giving it to you. And it's not giving it to you as if it's BS. We're giving it to you as the absolute truth. And we have every document to support everything we say. Unlike those who sit in the places called the honourables. Anyway, moving right along. This is the new seal of the loony left. This is the Australia seal. Right? This is brought to you by the Albanese Communist Republic Party. This has got nothing to do with our constitution. This is a corporate seal, right? It's created by the corporate commonwealth, therefore has no actual authority outside of that corporation. Just like the rules of McDonald's don't apply to the people driving past, it only applies to the people working within McDonald's, right? Just a corporate seal has nothing to do with the non-corporate commonwealth, which is the Commonwealth. Look at this fella here. Man, look at this guy. King Charles III. King Charles III. Before he came to Australia, he told the Australian people that if they wanted to become a republic, he wouldn't stand in his road. And yet he swore an oath to protect the people of the Commonwealth. So then he just went ahead and broke his oath. That's an honourable sort of king. Wow. And let's have a look at this. Here he is with Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum talking about the destruction of sovereignty around the world. And look at this. There's number one's son standing there also at the World Economic Forum. So these two nupties are under the influence of the Fourth Reich. Klaus Schwab. Yeah, you heard it. Here he is, the king and the prince in line under the control of the most evil bastard on planet Earth. What do we do about that? Well, more on that later. King Charles has just thrown the people of Australia under the bus of the WEF and the United Nations. Listen to his Christmas speech. It's an absolute disgrace. It is an absolute disgrace. But this is what the king himself has done to you and I, the people of Australia, just tossed us under the bus. The reformation of the lawful constitution of Australia, right? The reformation must come. It is time for we, the people, to bring our country back under a legitimate, lawful, constitutional parliament. Not a fraud, not stuff that was done by stealth at night. Have a look at this. Australia's fall in disposable income is the worst in the world. Australian households experienced the largest fall in disposable incomes across the OECD nation over the past 2 years. Look at this. And, oh no, vote for Liberal this time because they're better fiscally than Labor. Oh, no, vote for Labor because they're better for the working class. What a lot of bullshit. These people are flat out in destroying our nation, destroying your way of life. I see ads on TV when I switch it on. Sponsor an Australian child. How disgusting is that of such a prosperous nation where children have to live in poverty and can't afford food and clothing to go to school? Thank you very much to the two-party preferred system that's so broken it'll never be fixed. So what sort of country do you want? How much trust do you have in state and federal governments to improve your life, to bring our country out of the doldrums? How much trust do you have? How much confidence do you have that we will be a proud, prosperous nation in the future? Me? Zip, zero, none under this program, under their ways. Now, no power for you, just the pain of paying for it. Energy Australia, a wholly owned subsidiary of China Light and Power. Wow, look at that. A wholly owned subsidiary, Energy Australia. Delta, formed by the New South Wales government in 1996 as part of a reform of the electricity sector. They were then sold on to Sunset Power. Sunset Power, right, is owned by the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic, China. NRG is a Texan company. NRG, you're paying somebody in Texas, you're paying over here somebody in the Czech Republic, you're paying somebody in China. Look at this. Chow Tai Fook, they have part ownership of the Loy Yang B power station in Victoria. Alinta Energy is Australia's energy generation retail company, was acquired by the Hong Kong-based Chai Tao Fook Corporation in 2017. So Alinta Energy is now off to Hong Kong, right? And Sumiato Group are a Japanese group. The electricity we've got in this country, the governments, state and federal, have sold them to every bloody foreign mob out there, and their deal is that every year the price of electricity must go up. That's the deal. So don't you think for one bloody minute you're ever going to see cheap electricity prices as long as Liberal and Labor, the two-party preferred system, are in power. It ain't happening. It's going to get worse. And did you know China owns 7.8 million hectares of Australia's land, 40% of our pubs, 34% of the hospitals, the largest coal mining companies and the third largest stake of Australian water, Energy Australia, Alinta Energy, and 38% of the dairy industry. And these people who you think you're voting for, oh, we'll vote Liberal, we'll vote Labor, we'll do Greens, we'll vote for Pauline, we'll do this, we'll do that. Listen, you've been trying to do this for 50 bloody years to keep the bastards honest. And in case you haven't figured it out, it ain't working. It has to stop. And the only people who can stop it is you, not by voting. Voting is just you're giving consent to that part of the corporation to do whatever the hell they want for the next 4 years. Every time you vote, you give them your consent. Commonwealth Constitution Act, Section 100, subsection 419. The water can't be separated from the land or traded. But they do. Canada, the US, China, and the United Kingdom are the largest foreign owners of Australian water. God, they've sold our water and all. And so this equates to 11.3% of the entitlements issued across Australia. They've sold the electricity, they've sold the trains, they've sold the roads, they've sold the water. The only thing they haven't sold is you. Oh, hang on, they did, because the ATO takes money off you and it doesn't go to anything in this country. Cubby Station is the largest irrigation property in the Southern Hemisphere. It's located in southwest Queensland. Now look at this, the 6,677 hectare property comes with, listen to the number, 2,262 megalitre, that's million litres of water licence, right? And the access to water harvesting within the lower Balonne region is massive, right? They hold over 12 million megalitres, 12,000 megalitres on the farm. They suck it out of the river system so those down south don't get it. I don't think Cubby Station is owned by Australians. Have a look. Now, here we go. Those in power, Liberal, Labor, they don't feel the same pain you feel. They're paid a fortune to destroy this great land. Look at this. The Prime Minister's getting over $500,000. This year it'll be 600,000. The Deputy Prime Minister, 470,000. The Treasurer, 438,000. But look at this. Hang on, let me get down here. The High Court Chief Justice, who is sitting unlawfully, has not sworn the lawful oath, and is beholden to the corporation. He gets paid 672,000. The High Court Justice gets paid 610,000. But look at the Secretary to the Prime Minister and Cabinet, $1 million this year. The Secretary to the Treasury, 986,000. The Secretary to the Attorney General, 960,000. They don't worry about the price of milk or whether petrol's gone up. They're not worried about rent or mortgage prices. They don't suffer the same pain you suffer. Do you understand what's going on here? They don't care. And the minute you come to the realization that is they don't care, maybe then you will care. Look at this. All this green dream stuff, all these wind turbines and solar panels and panels on your roof and everything else. Every time you put that stuff on your house, you have to have a smart meter. A smart meter gives them a direct line access into every aspect of your life. In Queensland, they turned off 8,000 air conditioners on a hot day. That is Big Brother out of control. Why did they do it? Because they can, but because the government's green dream, the universal religion of green, can't produce enough electricity. And so you, the nuppy at the end of the line, they switch you off. Is this the sort of country you want? What's going to happen when they switch off your cooking facilities? What's going to happen when they switch off your heating facilities? What's going to happen when they switch off your green electric car? Yeah, have a look at this. Now, this isn't just electric cars that this government has done this with. It comes with all the new Kias, all the petrols, all the diesels, everything else. They have a thing inside them now called geofencing. All the new cars have geofencing, and it's a lot easier to switch off an electric car than in the others, but they can do it. Broadly, geofencing requires a few things to work. Defining a geographical boundary, a virtual boundary, is set to a corresponding physical location. You know, your 15-minute cities, pay a tax if you want to go over to this region, pay another tax if you want to go to this region, right? The use of location services technology, typically through GPS, Wi-Fi or RFID or cellular data. Monitoring systems. These systems continuously monitors the position of the device or asset in relation to the boundary. If you go outside the boundary, you pay or they'll shut your car down. Triggering actions. Predefined actions are triggered when the monitoring system detects a device or asset crossing the virtual boundary. All new cars coming into Australia have to have geofencing in them. They didn't tell you that, did they? No, it's coming unless you stop it. Stop voting for these mongrels. It's coming unless you stop it. Stop voting for these mongrels. You think you've got to vote. Nearly 4 million people didn't vote in the referendum, and I'll guarantee you 4 million of them didn't pay the $20 fine, and I'll guarantee you 4 million of them haven't been taken to court. These are corporations. This is not a legitimate government. The lie of the electric car of being green is bullshit. There's your generator sitting there, diesel generators. The truth is they can control every aspect of the vehicle. So what sort of country do you want? A big brother country where they switch off your air conditioning, tell you how far you can go in your car, charge you a tax if you cross a line? How much trust do you have in state and federal government? And do you have any confidence in the current system to create a better country? For 50 years you've been saying it'll get better. Oh, we'll vote them in this time. Oh, we'll vote these in next time. Oh, we'll put the independents in. How many people have got into that damn house and tried, and they just get shut down, put out, falsely accused of bankruptcy, bullshit banks setting up loans that never existed just to bankrupt people and exile them out of the country? Fraser Anning, how much trust do you actually have? You've tried for 50 years to vote them in and out. And for 50 years, it's been getting worse and worse and worse. And if you think it's going to change anything this time, well, you go right ahead and vote. Have a look at this. This is an act to alter the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act by omitting obsolete words so as to recognise the Queen of Australia. Be it enacted by the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia with the approval of the electors as required by the Constitution as follows. That means a referendum. This act may be cited as Constitution Australia, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1988. Omission of enacting words. So omission, get rid of. The Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act is altered by omitting the words, be it therefore enacted by the Queen's most excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Lord Spiritual and Temporal and Commons, in this present Parliament assembled, and by the authority of the same as follows. Well, okay, get rid of the Queen's most excellent Majesty. That's where the authority lies, in her most excellent Majesty. Next page, next bit. An act to alter the Constitution as to require senators and members of the House of Representatives to take oaths or affirmations of allegiance to the Queen of Australia, blah, 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 as required by electors with no referendum. The Constitution is altered by omitting from the schedule thereto the words of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland and substituting Australia. So they got rid of the Queen's most excellent Majesty, right, of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland and just put in of Australia, the Queen of Australia. Let's have a look. Now, I know you've seen these before, but pay attention because it's going to get worse because now we have the Great Seal of Australia that Bonnie King Charlie thought was lovely and the communist Albanese presented to him. Have a look at this. This is Turnbull's turn to be Prime Minister. Remember, we were talking about the Queen of Australia. Now, you lot know what the oath is. You know what the actual oath is. You've heard it all before on my videos.
Your Excellency, may I present the Prime Minister Designate, the Honourable Malcolm Turnbull MP.
This is only short.
Mr. Turnbull, I invite you to take the oath of office as Prime Minister.
I, Malcolm Blythe Turnbull, do swear that I will well and truly serve the people of Australia, the office of Prime Minister, and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen of Australia, so help me God.
I now invite...
Okay, so he swore an oath to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen of Australia, that was created by the Whitlam Hawke era, that is a legal fiction and a corporation. This is treason personified. These people are now committing treason in broad daylight. Why? Because it's been done so slowly over such a period of time, the average Australian didn't pay any attention to it. And that's why we've got over 100 years of knowledge bringing this to you right now. So as perhaps you might share it, perhaps you might grow a set and send it to your mate, your mum, your dad, your brother, somebody, send it out there somewhere. Let's have a look at another one. Now, this is to prove not only the Prime Ministers took the wrong oath, but so did their cabinet. So let's have a look at this nupty. Fair dinkum, I tell you what, it's happening, guys.
Your Excellency, I'm pleased to present new appointments to the Ministry. Senator the Honourable Michaelia Cash, Attorney General and Minister for Industrial Relations.
Senator Cash, I invite you to take and subscribe the oath of office as Attorney General and Minister for Industrial Relations.
Oops, sorry, guys. The Attorney General, right, must know the law. Must.
I, Michaelia Cash, swear to the people of Australia in the offices of the Attorney General and Minister for Industrial Relations, and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Queen of Australia, so help me God.
Treason. Pure, absolute and total treason against the Commonwealth.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this.
Okay, now the next one.
Thank you.
The Honourable Peter Dutton as Minister for Defence.
Dutton, I invite you to take and subscribe the oath of office as Minister for Defence.
I, Peter Craig Dutton, do swear that I will well and truly serve the people of Australia in the office of Minister for Defence, and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Australia, so help me God.
Thank you.
Right. Now, he's now the leader of the Liberal Party, who swore an oath to a corporate queen. As you saw before, there was no referendums to enable this to happen. This is the fraud. This is the deception. This is the sleight of hand. It sounds about right, but it's not right. These people, they are not honourable. They are deceptive thieves who are stealing your entire nation and your future and your security and everything else out from under you. And you think by voting for traitors and treasons and dishonourable bastards, you're going to get a better result this time? Oh, golly, golly, golly. Well, now let's look at the current nupty. Nupty number one. Here we go.
Mr. Albanese, I invite you to take and subscribe the affirmation of office Prime Minister of Australia.
I, Anthony Norman Albanese, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister.
He didn't even mention a queen. The Commonwealth of Australia, her lands and her people. He might as well read that off the back of a bloody Wheatie box. And the bald one here, who was in the military, who should know the difference between treason and honesty, who should know how to protect his nation, who should know. And guess what? He does know, but he allowed the treason, so therefore he is tainted by it himself. Moving right along. You know, your local councils, it's amazing. Your local councils are getting more and more and more and more belligerent. We sent letters to them, mayors and CEOs. Right, now get this, councils, according to the tax department, are trading corporations. They're not government, they're trading corporations. Your council is registered as a private trading corporation with an ABN. Think about Bunnings and McDonald's. There's no GST on your council rates because they're a tax on your home and land, and corporations cannot charge a tax. Lawful letters sent to CEOs and mayors and councillors across Australia asking for proof of authority to issue rates notices. That system commenced in April 23. How do we know? I started it, right? Larger councils engaged King's counsels, barristers, and constitutional lawyers to study the letters. There was no rebuttal of the forensic detail and content of the letters. They can't rebut it. All lawful attempts to clarify have been ignored. 3 referendums, 74, 88 and 99, all voted no to local government bodies and they don't exist. And again, they just ignore you. They're just writing, they're bullies. They are just bullies. Your local council are just bullies. They're thugs taking your money. Think about a kid at school. The bully at school, he'd come up to you and punch you or threaten you or do whatever, and you had to capitulate or suffer the consequences. The council and the government are just bullies. Then they threaten you to go to court if you don't pay. And of course, we know that the judges, the great majority of the judges, are in the pockets of the councils because they get paid a percentage of the fines. It's criminal. What sort of country do you want? Are you happy with this shit? How much trust do you have in your state and federal governments? And do you have any confidence left in them, in the current system, to create a better country? You see, you've got to understand their system has created the shithole that we call Australia today. We have to fix this. And the only people that can fix this is you and I. You can't vote people in to fix it because once they get in there, they're constrained by the system. The system won't allow anybody from within to tear it down. It can only be torn down from outside. The two-party preferred system is so broken, it is beyond repair. Keep the bastards honest has been tried for the past 50 years. It's failed and failed miserably. And there is no way to fix a corrupt system. There is no way to fix a traitorous mind. They are traitors. Period. End of story. This is the home of the most evil, destructive, unlawful criminals in our lands. The corporate commonwealth is built on fraud, deception, and theft. Everything they put in place, they did by deception, they did by fraud, and they have now stolen our common wealth. We can fix it. And that's what I'm all about. We can fix it. This is the law of Australia. And we will bring this back into law. Now, make no mistake, once we come back under that constitution, you, the people, will be asked to make various changes to that constitution that better suit we, the people of Australia, now that the Crown has thrown us under the bus. Threw us under the bus, threw New Zealand under the bus, threw the UK itself under the bus, threw Canada under the bus. Maybe we should all join together and create a new common joint effort. Maybe, just a thought. The reformation of the lawful constitutional parliament of Australia will come to pass, and it will come to pass shortly. It is time for we the people to bring our country back under a legitimate constitutional parliament, for it is ours and this is our country and it doesn't belong to the WEFs and the United Nations of this world. What sort of country do you want? How much trust do you actually have in any aspect of your state and federal government? And don't forget, sorry to bring it up, but it was the state and federal governments and the ministers there within that said that if you didn't take their experimental program, you wouldn't have a job, you couldn't pay your mortgage, you couldn't provide for your children. Now, unfortunately, tens and tens and tens of thousands in this country alone have died because of it, and hundreds of thousands are injured, and millions are now waiting on what outcome will come for them. That's your government. That was your federal government. That was your state government. That was your state ministers. How much confidence do you have? Me? Just speaking as an individual, only counted as one? Zero. Absolute zero. My name's Tim Dwyer. I am pushing for the reformation of a constitutional Commonwealth government to be reinstated in this country. And I invite anybody in New Zealand, South Africa, Canada, the United Kingdom, any of you, please feel free to reach out. We all suffer under the same bunch of assholes. And today I will apologise for my vernacular, but I am wound up and I am passionate. And we have over 150 years of constitutional law and documents and the research that's been done to support every bit of what we say to be the God's gospel truth. Come and join us. Don't be afraid. That's what they're bargaining on. They're bargaining on you being afraid. Oh, what if we do this? What if it doesn't work? What if they come and get us? What if... Oh, look, give it a break. Give it a break. Come on. Lift your vibration up. Get your excitement up. Imagine what it could be like if we had our own non-fiat currency. Imagine what it would be like if there was literally no income tax, no company tax, none of that rubbish. We'd have a flat 5% tax. We learned about that 20 years ago. Flat 5% expenditure tax. Imagine what this country and the other countries could look like. Imagine if we had our manufacturing back in these countries. Imagine if our electricity prices were way down and our energy was almost but free. Ladies and gentlemen, just imagine how good it would be. Keep your ears out, keep your eyes out, share this stuff around. You guys, you have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great month, because this will be a great year. 2025, the year Australia came alive.
So to not put this to a vote is to concede defeat. You only win when you run on the field and engage. And let me tell you, my government is engaged. We're all in.
Monuments put front pen to paper.